Hey mamas, welcome to today's workout. We have a 12-minute prenatal bar workout today. You don't need any equipment, but you may want something to hold on to, such as the back of a chair, a countertop, etc. We're going to do most of the work in standing with a little bit of deep core work at the end, 45 seconds intervals with 15 seconds rest, but of course take breaks as you need. So we're going to begin either holding onto the chair with a plie squat to a releve. So take a nice wide stance here, as wide as is comfortable for that belly. You can take your arm out to the side. We're going to squat down, knees out, chest up, and then come up onto those toes at the top. So squat down, reaching toward the floor, and lift up onto those toes. So you're lifting your heels, exhaling, engaging that core and pelvic floor. Heels go down here, squeezing your glutes at the top. I'll show you here from the side. So just a nice deep squat. You can place both hands on the chair if you need more support here. Again, whatever feels good, or if you don't need the chair, also fine as well. So you can see as I'm hinging from my hips, I'm sitting deep into that squat, keeping good posture throughout the movement. Now we're gonna maintain that same position, the plie squat. This time we're gonna add a little pulse to it. So again, you can hold the chair or keep your arm out to the side for balance. And we're just gonna add a little bit more intensity with that pulse squat. Here we go, so 2 pulses, and then we're gonna lift up onto those toes. 2 pulses, and lift. So again, in that pulse, you're staying in the bottom of that squat as low as you can go. Now, if you find yourself starting to tip forward, round your spine, or if it just doesn't feel good on your lower back, you don't have to go quite as low. You can also take the releve out if you're having pain in your calves, or if that's just too much for you today. Again, we're all about respecting our bodies where we're at in our pregnancy. I'm at the end of my 2nd trimester here, so I'm still feeling pretty good, but things are starting to get a little bit harder. I'm having to modify, do some lower impact movements. So just know it, if you have to modify, that's perfectly natural and a good thing to do. Okay, we're gonna keep a hold of that one side of the chair, do a curtsy lunge with a toe tap. So I'm gonna start with this leg, going back to the diagonal, and then engage core and pelvic floor, tap the toe out to the side. So back knee goes to the back corner, and then we're tapping out to the side, engaging that side glute. So this front knee is going to push through the front foot, staying in line with those middle toes. Again, back knee toward the floor here. And this is working those side glutes, challenging our balance, of course. If you don't need the chair, you don't have to hold on to it. Just overall great for hip and glute strength, which is so important during pregnancy because a lot of times we lose glute strength from just poor posture. So as much as we can really train and strengthen those glutes, the better for our butt, but also our core and its function. Okay, we're gonna do that same thing on the other side. So I'm just gonna hold on to this opposite side of the chair now, or the same side rather, but so again, going nice and low. If you want to tap that back knee toward the floor, you could do that. You don't have to, again, as much as is comfortable. If you can't quite get as low, again, depending on the size of your belly, some movements may be more difficult or just not feel as good. And that's, again, perfect opportunity to modify. You could absolutely do just a regular lunge or squat with a toe tap instead. But we want to do that exhale on the lift, so we get that nice lift in the pelvic floor, that engagement of the deep core. Everything is a core exercise in pregnancy. So even though maybe we don't feel like we're working our abs, or you can't feel your abs anymore, they're still there. They're still working, and we want to engage with our breath. That's so important. Okay, now we're going to hold both hands onto the chair. We're going to face that chair. We're going to do a hip extension. So that front leg is going to sweep back. So you're going to lean forward just slightly, soften the knees, sweep the front foot back in. And now you can point the foot, you can flex the foot. But what I don't want you to do is externally rotate that hip. Keep your hips square to the floor. Squeeze your glute as you lift right there. Now we're not kicking super high. The higher we go, the more we're gonna feel it in the low back. And so I want you to stop where you feel it. Just a nice squeeze in that glute and hamstring, not too much into that low back. So again, we're working those glutes here, hamstrings, balance, standing on one leg, and the core as well, using that breath as we move. Now we're going to stay on that same leg, and this time we're going to add a little bit of a pulse to it. So again, just shake out those hips, take longer breaks if you need to. I know it can be a lot on the hips. So we'll start with that same leg again. We're just going to keep it up in the air and pulse. And again, strengthening those glutes will really help with just the discomfort as well that naturally occurs during pregnancy, especially in the hips, that lower body. The heavier baby gets, the more pressure down on all those ligaments. So doing glute work is really going to help strengthen our body to prepare for the progressing demands of pregnancy in the second and third trimester. And let me tell you, this is my third pregnancy, and it definitely, everything is happening faster. All those uncomfortable feelings have come on faster than they did my previous pregnancies. I think because it's my third, and maybe because it's also a little bit of a bigger baby too. All right, we're going to do that same thing on the other side. So again, we want to stay soft in the knees, not lock those knees out. The little hip extension. Good posture here. Even though we're leaning forward just a little bit, don't collapse through your upper back. Keep that little squeeze between the shoulder blades. It's so common during pregnancy to round your upper spine because a lot of weight is pulling you forward from all the weight we are carrying on the front of our bodies now. But if we can really think about squeezing the shoulder blades, retracting them back and down, kind of like you've got a little like tennis ball or golf ball between your shoulder blades, you want to try to keep it there. Keep those postural muscles engaged, and that's really going to help also avoid pressure on the core and pelvic floor. Posture is a really big part of that. The more we put pressure here, the more forward we're going to put pressure down into that core and pelvic floor. So if we can kind of think lifting the posture, lifting that pelvic floor, that's naturally going to give us that little pelvic lift, and also help with ligament pain and in our round ligaments and our lower extremities that can become really uncomfortable in the second and third trimester. So posture is so important. So it's exercises like this where we can really think about switching on those postural muscles. Whew, this one's already burning. Got a little bit more time left. Try to keep that leg up. Again, it doesn't have to be very high. It doesn't even have to be a big pulse. It can be really small, but it's still doing the trick. Okay, a couple more seconds here. All right, good work. Okay, we can place the chair off to the side now. We're gonna do a bird dog pulse. So adding some of those similar components we just did in the glute exercises. This time, I'm gonna show you a couple options to engage that glute one more time. So hands under shoulders, lift your front leg, and we're gonna pulse at the top of the range. So that's about hip level. Just like in that hip extension, we don't want to externally rotate. We want to keep hips square. This time they're facing the floor. Hands are under the shoulders. Now you could add that opposite arm, lift that to shoulder height to add more of a challenge, or keep it on the floor. And you could also do one lift, one toe tap. One lift, one toe tap, and exhale on the lift. This would be the most modified variation. But if you start to feel yourself kind of collapsing or you're not maintaining that good core control, this is a tough exercise. Absolutely just modify, take breaks as you need to, come right back in here to any variation when you're ready. This is one of the more challenging exercises because we're combining core stability, that deep core and pelvic floor work with balance and glute and back work. So got a little bit of everything. Okay, so let's switch to the other side. We're going to start with just a leg. And again, we want those hands just about shoulder width apart, pressing evenly through the hands. Again, you're going to naturally shift a little bit toward the front side. We're counterbalancing here, but helping your body do its thing, helping it will be lifting that arm, that opposite arm, Even though it's harder, it will actually force you to stay balanced in the center rather than shift your weight to one side. But again, you can do the tap and lift anytime you need a little bit of a recovery. I understand this is tough. Again, especially if you're end of second trimester or third trimester like me, it only gets harder, but it will be so worth it when we're done with our pregnancy and feel the recovery benefits faster postpartum. All right, flip over onto your back. We're going to start with a glute bridge here. So feet close to your butt, tuck your pelvis under, lift those hips. So we're focused on squeezing the glutes, almost like we're scooping in and up, drawing in the pelvic floor from the bottom to the top. So like you're picking up a little blueberry with that pelvic floor, bringing it up all the way to the top. So the glute bridge, we want to stay in that range where we feel it in the hamstrings and the glutes. If you're feeling it in your low back and you're feeling or seeing a big arch here, that's how you know you've gone a little bit too high. So you want to stay a little bit lower. Again, we want to use our glutes, not the spinal muscles, to lift here, although the back will be working as well. All right, we're gonna stay in that glute bridge position, and then we're just gonna add a pulse. Simple but effective. This is gonna be the last thing we do in our workout today. Here we go. Staying in that top range, just a small little pulse. I want you to really press your heels into the ground and think about, again, you've picked up that blueberry, you're keeping it in place. So that pelvic floor is engaged, lower middle, upper abs, glutes. We're putting all those things together. This is one of the best exercises you can do. Now, if you don't feel great laying on your back for long periods of time, well, I wouldn't consider this a long period of time, but for 50 seconds, then you can absolutely take some breaks or avoid if you are uncomfortable at any point in the workout. But we're almost there. Stay with it. Keep digging those heels into the ground. And we're there. Carefully roll onto your side, especially if you're further along. We don't want to sit straight up and strain those abdominals. We want to make sure we're staying connected through our core throughout. So I hope you enjoyed that workout. Let me know in the comments what you're enjoying so far in your pregnancy or what's been challenging for you and what workouts on my channel that you've tried. I always love to see which workouts you all are enjoying, and that way I know how to tailor my workouts to my audience. So I've got workouts for each trimester of pregnancy if you're curious. Each playlist is going to have specific considerations for first, second, and third trimester, but all my prenatal workouts are going to be safe throughout pregnancy and postpartum as well, although I do have specific workouts tailored to each phase of pregnancy and then postpartum as well. So check out those playlists, give me feedback or thumbs up if you like the video, and I'll see you back here for our next workout together.